Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Scents, and it has been an absolute while since I've been around. I apologise with the summer holidays, the break, and getting back into the swing of things with family, kids, school and work, whatever. Anyway, you don't need to know about that. All you care about is what you see on the screen in front of you. And I have decided to take my time to bring these to you because, as I always say, I do prefer to try fragrances out for a while before I jump the gun and make a review and tell you, yeah, it's a must buy or it's a no-go. I appreciate it might take a bit of time getting them to you, and you probably have come across these yourselves, but I'm going to give a more in-depth review of what I believe to be, right in front of you, those that are definite buys, those are that you can hopefully do without, but also those that you might want to try and sample before you actually go ahead. So without further ado, what I'll do is I'll start off with the freshest off the bunch before I go into the more wintry, thicker fragrances, and obviously that would be this one on the right, Latafa's Dynasty and Dynasty. I'm going to move this one out the way. I'll get to that in a moment later on in the video. But as we know, many of you have possibly come across this, and I noticed from my previous videos, I'm a sucker for a tea-based note in a fragrance, and Dynasty, Dynasty, however you want to pronounce it, I'm going to say Dynasty, is a good, very good. In fact, you can see I've not had it for long. Actually, the camera angle doesn't do it justice, but there's a dent in that. That much has been used. And this has only been with me for around 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, if that. I've been using this a lot. Now, off the bat, what are the notes? For those of you that may not know, it's a Lattafa fragrance. Now, I must say, whenever you mention tea, many people jump the wagon and go, oh yeah, is it going to be any good compared to the LV one that we all know about and everyone seems to boost and like, the Imagination, a DNA. It's not a competitor or a take on that. This is essentially, I would say, its own thing. I do know it has tried, I believe, I've not smelt the I'd say original, but the other red tea one from Clive and Christian, which is red tea vetiver, I believe. I've not smelt that, so I can't say whether it smells similar to that, but this is rooibos tea. It's a particular type of fruity tea note that's in here, which makes it a more softer, less sharper, more softer, I'd say a smoother tea-based fragrance, and a sweeter one at that as well. Now, it's not overly sweet, and it gives a, I get why they've gone for this kind of theme, this royal theme. It gives a royal, silky, blended feel to my nose. So off the top, I'll list the notes here. You've got ginger, bergamot, clary, sage, raspberry off the top. Possibly get a bit of that raspberry, and nutmeg. The rooibos tea is the majority in the middle note, with a bit of suede, which gives the smoothness, and then it dries down to cedarwood, cashmere, and amberwood. Now, I would definitely say it's bright off the top, so you get the beautifully blended ginger and bergamot with a hint of raspberry, and I think that's what I really appreciate in this. It's that hint of raspberry. Doesn't stick around for too long. It adds that sweet element to it, but then it transitions and you do get the rooibos tea, and that's what makes it so pleasant. For those of you that may not have smelt that, it's more like a fruitier, obviously, fruitier, sweeter tea rather than a peppery, spicy tea. So it's not peppery, it's not spicy in that sense. The one thing I would say it's not great, I love the presentation. It's a lightweight cup. That's a bit gimmicky. I do like the way they've done that, and I think people think they're copying the LV, you know, some of the fragrances, but they're not. Anyhow, the sprayer, the atomizer is a bit weak, which I don't appreciate. You'll see here. I mean, that looks great, but compared to other ones, possibly I'm getting very used to pressurized atomizers. Anyway, beautiful smell. I've just small the bottles there. I'll get it in the ear actually. It's a very delicate tea-based fragrance. Doesn't mean that you don't smell it. It does project well for the first, I'd say, half an hour, 45 minutes. Gives you a very bright, fresh element. And I think essentially that's what I'm really liking about this. I love a tea-based fragrance. Tea is a note that gives me a relaxing, chilled out vibe. And I do like to use other ones. I mean, I'll go away and even go grab them if I can while you stay there. Other ones that stand out to me that are similar to that in the sense that you'd find, I'd say, these two that possibly stand out. Oh, I'm the granddaddy of them all. Sorry, I've had to come to another room to do this, so the sound might dip in and out, such as the setup I've got. But yes, you have, right, I'll do them in order. Tea-based fragrance, I'll do a separate video. Where does it stand in terms of my tea-based fragrances? Marwa I appreciate, I don't love. I've said that in a video, another video. I'd put Dynasty in front of this. Liam Gray, I do adore, but it's a complete different take on that, more of a powdery fig and other elements. This is more relaxing and calming, so I'd possibly put this in front of this. And then above them all is my favorite of them all, the biggest dent, Wulong Cha X. That is my best tea free. That has everything you want in a tea-based fragrance, and I believe, in my mind, this is even better than Imagination. Sorry, shoot me for that. Hate me all you like. Everyone seems to love Imagination. Everyone seems to adore it, but I think it's, I appreciate it. I don't love it. I think it's okay. And I'd take Wulong Cha X over that any day. This has far more depth and complexity to it than that does from the top, middle, and end. Anyhow, back to Dynasty. I'd say if you do appreciate a tea-based fragrance, a note, and you really do like that, but you want something slightly different, so it's brighter, less peppery, less spicy than your Marwa. It's also less spicy than Imagination, and I wouldn't compare it to that at all. It's a fruitier with a hint of raspberry, sweeter, fresher take. I'd say fresh is bright take, but it's an all year round fragrance. This, I definitely say you can possibly use it more so in the winter, summer and spring, but don't bypass it in the winter and the autumn. It's just very good to put on at any time of the day for any occasion. It makes you smell clean, as tea-based fragrances do, fresh. It's got a bright, vibrant, opening, citrusy nature to it, and I'd definitely say give it a try. I mean, I picked this up 30 odd pound, maybe 25 pound. It was actually reduced, as in like the price had come down already. Latafa do fantastic fragrances in some of their collections, and this I believe is one of their better ones, particularly on the tea note. And there's nothing other like it, and no one's going to pay for Clive and Christian Red Tea Vetiver, whatever it's called. It's not that great a DNA to be paying whatever they're asking, but for the price that Latafa are asking, you won't find anything that smells like this at that price at all. So add it to your collection. I don't say that for many others. I say sample them before, but this is such an easy reach, a dumb reach, simple, straightforward one. It's not going to blow the socks off anyone, but it's going to make you smell clean and fresh throughout the day, at any time of the day, any time of the year. And it's a brighter take on that tea note, fresher take on it, and it's a fruitier note as well at that. But it's certainly unisex. I've been spraying my other half with this and walking past, she appreciates it. She seems to have that link with Wulong Cha X. It doesn't smell anything like this. They are different, but that tea DNA does come across in it, and that citrusy opening comes across. They're not alike. I would always go for this as the best tea-based fragrance, but give that a go. I'll pop it down now, move on, because there's lots to cover. I've gone onto that. So yes, give this one a go. Now, Zayaan Gold is getting some hype by some of the fragrance community. Many of you may have seen videos of this, and this essentially is I just thought, you know what, I'll go for it. I do have many that are in similar DNA and vein. What I would say, it does a couple of things really well. Are you looking for a banger at a good price? Tick. Very affordable, mid £20 again. I found this at online. It's fantastic pressurized atomizer. Oof, for the price you're paying. All day lasting fragrance. It is a beast of a performer. It will last all day. Heavy cap, heavy, what feels like a metal body. Don't drop that. And what does it smell like? So the best way I could describe this, essentially, that maybe others have also referred to as well, would be that it's a wintry based fragrance, definitely for this time of the year that I'm recording this. So your autumn, your winter, your colder weathers. I can't find much on Fragrantica. There seems to be a different picture on there, and a different fragrance altogether. Anyhow, so Zayaan Gold. I'll read you the notes and you tell me what you think. So top notes are cognac, raspberry, and a little bit of a nutty profile. Middle notes are tonka bean, rose, myrrh, and violet. You definitely get the tonka bean, bit of rose in there. Base notes are sandalwood, oak, moss, praline, and caramel. Now, you get all of them. And what that reminds me of is the Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir. It reminds me a bit of the Le Male Absolute, Elixir Absolute, but it also reminds me a bit of the DNA of Angel Share. And you might be, oh God, there's so many Angel Shares. Khamra and those kind of sweet approaches. It's like all of them combined with the best elements of each, if that makes sense. And you might think that's a hell of a lot. So that, hence why they are powerhouse fragrance, particularly the, elixirs, the sweet coiners. So if you want something that's tonka beany, that's sweety, that's a little bit caramelly, a little bit nutty, a bit of violet, that stands out. If you've got them, I wouldn't say you'd need this. I don't actually have them. I have samples of them, little decants. I don't have a big bottle, so that's hence why I went for this. And I do have a couple of clones of Le Male Elixir and so on. And I think this probably outperforms all of them because it's a combination of perfumes. It's not a 100% take on any of them. It's more like a combination of them if they came together. So if you want something that can be really head turning, I'd say, very head turning, it will stand out. You only need a couple of sprays. It will last for the whole day and it will really amplify through the cold weather. And it's that kind of warm, cozy, creamy, sweet fragrance for the winter. Definitely get your hands on that, and it's a powerhouse. A little will go a long way. Khadlaj are releasing some fantastic fragrances. They do some great atomizers as well. It's a different take on a bottle style, but give that one a try. I'd say sample that and see what you think, particularly if you have others. Now moving on, Swiss Arabian Tobacco 01. Now I've had this for a while. I've just held off. I sampled and sampled and sampled this in stores until I finally found it at a price that I was happy to go for. Now, the reason being, it's a smaller bottle, but boy, does it go a long way. Swiss Arabian makes some fantastic, fantastic fragrances, especially at the price points they're at. Again, metal-y style body, cap that is great looking as well. Yes, I believe it's a 50ml bottle, but a little goes a long way. And this is Extrait de Parfum. So this is an Extrait de Parfum. The Khadlaj, I believe, was Eau de Parfum. Okay, and similar for Dynasty. Extrait de Parfum. Now, whoa, what a solution. The best thing I love about Swiss Arabian is they have such well-blended perfumes. Tobacco 01, you might think it's a huge powerhouse of a tobacco fragrance, very heavy, but it's not essentially just that. I'll show you what comes up on Fragrantica. It's a very much a sweet, fruity tobacco with honey in it. And I love the combination of honey and tobacco. It's one of the winning elements in any perfume. If you've got those two elements, you're onto a winner in my eyes. So, notes. Now, I don't get, well, maybe it is there. Those are listed. People do say they do smell plum. I probably get a little bit hint of it. Anyway, it's got a little fresh, crisp opening. So it does have, according to this, plum, apple, licorice, cumin, and pink pepper. So it's got a lot going at the top. Labdanum, amber, patchouli, and yin yang. And you definitely get something a little bit more tropical with that. I wouldn't say, pineapple or anything like that, but yin yang, there is something in the middle that makes it stand out. And then at base, it does develop into, and this certainly develops if you let it sit on your skin or your clothes. Tobacco and honey and vanilla and sandalwood, they all blend into a fantastic musky, succulent fragrance that again is perfect for the spring and summer. And what I'd say is, if you're comparing it to anything, it's not a take on anything in particular. To Blackula, From Dior, maybe it's doing that. People say it's also got side effect similarities to it. I wouldn't say it's 100% take on any of them. It's its own style of DNA with this, and I'd say try it out, because from the opening, you do get that tobacco. You get a bit of leather as well, I think, in my mind. Maybe that's the plum and the tobacco coming together. Anyhow, atomizer check so you can see it. Let's do it. Yeah, good. Not pressurized, but a good amount comes out of it. Way better than the Dynasty. And that will last a long time. I've sprayed this on a card, and I know we're not ones for spraying on cards. Sorry for shaking the camera there, guys. But essentially, I had a card, and it stayed on that card for weeks. And I mean weeks down the line. Not days, weeks down the line. Weeks and weeks and weeks. I could still smell it. It develops. It's one of those fragrances that transitions. It doesn't stay the same from the beginning to end. Beautiful longevity. Fantastic performance. A great one that does project and is just so smoothly composed. I'd certainly say if you are looking for a tobacco and honey vanilla based fragrance that isn't too cloying and sweet but has those sweeter elements to it, give this one a go. Try it. I wouldn't even say sample it. Go and get it. It's a little bit more, 40, 50 pounds for 50 ml, but it goes a long way. A couple of sprays last all day, and you won't be disappointed. For those tobacco lovers, certainly give that a go. Swiss Arabian are one of my favorite houses for some of their fragrances. Now, continuing down that winter, I picked this up because it was so cheap. It was less than £20. I think this was 15, 16 odd pounds discounted. I hadn't come across it, but it's Maison Alhambra, and it's in perfect harmony. What a random looking bottle, and it does essentially look like a cheap bottle and a cheap scent. Anyway, the reason I picked it up is I'm a sucker at the moment, for some time I've been, for oud maracuja, however you want to say it, but essentially the DNA of passion fruit, fruity passion fruit with an oudy nuance and incense. Now this take is more of a slightly feminine leaning because it's a sweeter, more emphasis on the top notes of fruits and brighter fruits, and particularly that passion fruit. So for that price, if you wanted something less strong in terms of incense and oudiness, but more fruitier for yourself, whether you want to, try it and try it with the multiple layering fragrances, then because this costs very little amount, it does again last for a while, but it has a sweeter, brighter opening. Atomizer check. Nothing great, does the job, but again, it's brighter, fruitier. The passion fruit comes across off the top. I'll give you the official notes if you really want them. It is so inexpensive, but I would say it's slightly feminine leaning, probably 60-40, 55-45. You can pull it off as a man, don't worry too much. But yeah, it's fruity, amber, floral, powdery, citrus, and so on. According to Fragrantica, blackberry, raspberry, bergamot, lychee, magnolia, incest, violet, rose, vanilla, amber, and musk. So yeah, different composition. That's possibly why it's not a complete take on oud maracuja. Oh, no. Habiscus mahajad shows you what I was doing. Sorry, I do have an oud maracuja video to do next. Habiscus mahajad is the one that this one clones. Sorry, we all make mistakes. Forgive me. You might think I don't know what I'm on about. I've just got another video to do on oud maracuja next. This is the hibiscus. I was getting confused. I was thinking it's too sweet to be oud maracuja. Habiscus mahajad. Again, smelt this in store. Haven't got the original. There aren't too many others that do it amazingly well. I think Maison Ravelli's composition, blending, and quality just far outweighs anything else that's a clone. So you won't. But for the price point, for less than 20 odd pounds, if you like that sweet, floral, rosy, essencey, fruity opening, then it's not a one for one, but it's its own take on it. And it's certainly, again, hence why it leans a little bit more feminine, can be an appreciative fragrance to have to the collection if that's what you like. So again, apologies guys, but yes, it's Habiscus mahajad's take on that. Now, before we get to the end, I've got two more. Quickly go through them. It's been sitting in the corner, nice and bright, Rayhaan Crimson. Now, I won't make a mistake on this because, again, this has been out for some time. I've not decided to purchase it because I was actually really appreciative of what this is trying to, I guess, replicate or be its own version of, which, for those of you that know, is Centaurus from Creed. Now, I smelt that in the shop, I sampled it, and I really, again, at this time of year, autumn, winter time, in the colder months, Centaurus from Creed is just, it's expensive, but boy is it nicely well blended. Some people don't appreciate the DNA that it gives off, but I really found it was so well blended from the beginning to the end that I appreciated it. I just didn't want to spend that kind of money on it. So I looked around, this kept coming up as a recommendation. I know there are others, I believe, in the lineups for aromatics. Here you have one and others, but this isn't a one-to-one. However, the notes listed here give it similar similarities to that Creed Centaurus. So this is cinnamon, pink pepper, and cardamom off the top. Patchouli middle notes, tonka bean, vanilla, benzoin. Seems very simple, but it's got a very much, I mean, they say red gum in the US. I can understand that to a degree. I don't think we get it. We might get it here in the UK, but who knows? But it's got a unique smell to it, but it does shout Christmassy, festive period. You know, that time of year when you've got the log fire going on, the cold notions outside in the seasons. But again, a little goes a long way. This projects like a beast. It lasts all day. Very strong. You don't want to overspray this. It can come off as cloying. But what I'd say is this gets better the more it settles down. And I'm hoping it gets better the more it macerates as well, which most of them usually do. But the first 5 to 10, 15 minutes, this might come across very quite synthetic or a bit strong and pungent to the nose. Go easy on the sprays, guys. I'm going to spray it once for you to do a check. Rayhaan, fantastic atomizers. Again, that smell will stick around. I've actually been trying to layer this with other things, and yeah, you'd be surprised. There are some great layering combos. I'll do that in another video anyway. But it's got a great uniqueness to it. That's why I'd say having this in your collection, unless you've got Centaurus or something like it, will be different to others. It's got a potency to it, which I say off the top isn't that nice. It doesn't come across too well blended to begin with, but give it a bit of time. And I mean a bit of time, 45 minutes, an hour, and people are like, who's got that time to it? It gets better and it settles down and blends into something really pleasant and pleasing and transitions into a much more well-refined fragrance, which you appreciate. So a very nice fragrance to have for this time of the year. And I would say it's not a definite buy, but definitely sample it and see how you get on, particularly if you like Centaurus and you don't want to pay that crazy price that Creed are asking for. Now, to finish off, because we've gone on a while now, this is something that I just wanted to include in this video. Again, I've had it for ages. Not sponsored or anything, but you can access this. And I wanted to mention it because it relates to a really popular fragrance at the moment, or a combination of fragrances, and it's from Mood, London. I haven't come across these other than, I think, in Birmingham Bullring Shopping Centre, walked past them, tried a couple of them, got some gift sets, and I'd say their 100ml bottles are expensive, 150 quid, I think, 150 pounds, sorry for the slang, guys, 150 pounds, expensive. Do try them if you manage to. They do these smaller travel size testers as a bundle, which are much more not cost effective. Better to go to try to other, because they do quite a few combination ones. They do their own take on Aventus. They do their own take on Ombre Nomad, loads of other popular fragrances. Anyway, so this is the Travel Atomizer. I've taken it out. The one I wanted to talk to you about that I've had, and I just went back to do it again. You can see how much I've used. Is their take on two really, really nice fragrances. This is called, I don't know if you can see it, but Blonde Maracujá. Wonder what that's mimicking, hey? So you've got, I believe it, Blonde Amber by Clyde Christian and Oud Maracujá from Maison Alhambra. Again, what I was talking about earlier. It's almost the middle ground of both of them. So I've sampled those two. I do love Oud Maracujá, probably more so than Blonde Amber. I'm going to try some of the blonde ambers that have been boosted lately by other reviewers, but this is fantastic. Now, the only downfall is I'm trying to see whether it lasts long enough for me to be able to go out and spend £150 on the big bottle. But the opening, the mid, the dry down, just the scent of this, boy, they've just ambified Oud Maracujá, removed the incense essentially and the overly potent oud note, made it much more mass appealing, boosted the passion and fruitiness and amber in this. So from the opening, you get a beautiful amber note, beautiful, absolutely fantastic passion fruit note. And that really, really sets this off as being a really nice. Now, it is, again, for more of your fruitier preference, people that prefer fruitier fragrances and mixed in with the ouds and amber fragrances. Oh, but it's so nicely done. It doesn't come off synthetic at all. Not an ounce of it. Beautifully blended, and that's what I appreciate. I don't think the reviews say it's great for longevity, for how long it lasts. Longevity. I'm yet to see, because I've had different. Some days it's lasted loads, some days it hasn't, and I think again it depends whether you spray on skin or whether you spray it on clothes. So hence why I'm waiting to finish this off until I decide to. However, I haven't come across one that's as well blended as this. Do give it a go and do try out possibly the smaller amount. Again, it's not something that I am pushing in terms of promotion or whatever, not at all. It's just I want to share the best things that I come across to you guys, and I won't ever hype anything at all unless I absolutely believe so. So out of these ones, which ones would I say give it a go? Definitely give a go to Blonde Maracujá from Mood London if you get a chance. See what you think if you like those DMAs. Dynasty from Lattafa, I'd say, for the price point, and if you like tea fragrances, yes, a buy. Zayaan Gold from Khadlaj, yes. However, sample first, because you might already have something within that DNA, but this is a combination of fragrances, so sample first before you go for it, but it lasts a long time and it is a beast performer. Tobacco 01 Swiss Arabian, yes, go for that if you like tobacco, if you like honey, if you like sandalwood, if you like those typical notes, and a bit of vanilla. In Perfect Harmony, if you really like something like, for the cost, you can't really go wrong. It's so inexpensive, but more feminine leaning, I'd say. So bear that in mind. And then Rayhaan Crimson, I'd say before you go for this, because it can be quite potent in the opening and some people don't like the DNA at all. Those that do love it, love it. So test that out, trial it out, sample it out before you go ahead and buy. So that's my take on the most recent purchases. I've got another video with other recent purchases. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think. If you got any of these, let me know what your take is on them and what you would like to know about them going forward, and anything that I might have missed or you'd like to add on to this video. So like, comment, subscribe, get your samples from the link below as well. I will decant any of these for you guys. Take care.